So can you see it my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, sorry about that. Okay, so once you come to the school site and you log in, this is going to be your welcome page. So you're logging in with your email address, the email address you registered with, and the password you selected when you registered. And you come to this page. If you want to enroll for new courses, you can click here to see the new courses that are open and click on register to register for any course. Now, it is not advisable for you to register for more than one course at a time. And the reason is, in whatever you do, you want to do it well, right? If you don't have a daytime job, then you might want to try 2 courses, but each of the courses that we have is intense. It takes you from foundational to professional level, and we discuss every little detail of the course so that you can pass any technical interviews to get any job, remote job you want, and you'll be able to do better than even people who hold a master's degree in that field. And that is why it is not advisable to register for more than one course at a time, so that you can give it your dedication, you can research well, do the assignment and do it well. If you want to register for 2 courses at a time, assuming you are a beginner the first time you're doing anything in tech, then understanding programming and software development is the only course you can combine with other courses, as this is not programming intensive. It just gives you information to understand things about the world of software engineering and know exactly where you fit in. There are several courses and they open every month. We have new courses that are going to come out, and then you can go to the course catalog to see the several courses that we have and the date they're going to be opened. Each course has several batches. No 2 batch runs concurrently. All right. So once you get here, you can click on the course code. For this course, it is SOP Web FB 10325A, and then you come into the classroom. You can see the classroom information here. If you have WhatsApp installed and you want to be part of the group, you can click here to join the group. It is not compulsory, but it is the fastest way to get information. Our major form of communication is via emails, and so whatever we have in the WhatsApp group chat, you will definitely get via email also. All right, and so you can see the week's announcement from the first term, and anytime you want to look at previous announcements, you can select past announcement tab to see all the previous announcements in case if there are information that you want from that announcement. All right, the open activity list just gives you a list and the start and end date of any open activity, especially assignments, so that you don't miss your dates. Then we have the notes and resources, where you can open or download your notes for the week. And if you want to have notes, you want to read the notes, then you get it here. Lessons and video tab will give you the links to watch all of the pre-recorded videos. Now, I'll try in the live classes to use more examples than we have in the pre-recorded videos, but both the pre-recorded videos and the live class are important, as you won't get the same details from both of them. We want to give you as much examples and as much diverse problems as possible for you to be able to go deep into the field. Now, for the assignment tab, you will see assignments with assignment code. When you expand this, you'll see the date the assignment is due. Now, dates are hard deadlines. You have to try to submit before the due date. Our time zone is US Eastern Time. Right now is Daylight Savings Time, and so countries like Nigeria is 5 hours ahead. I think if you're in East Africa, you should be 6 hours ahead. If you're in Southern Africa, you should be 6 hours ahead. And so you can use a time zone converter to see that. So you can download the file here and follow the instruction exactly. Now, we try to give instructions that might not make sense sometimes, but the whole idea is that in the world of software engineering, you must learn how to follow instructions to the last detail, even if it makes no sense. And that is one of the first criteria for you to succeed in the field. And so we give instructions for submission that carries grade, and so that you must follow the instruction exactly as given, or you're going to lose grades for not following that instruction. All right. So you download the file from here for the assignment. Once you finish the assignment, you come back to this page, and then you go to auto-graded assessment and assignment submission. You expand this and click on assignment. You select your course code again, which is this, and then you select the assignment ID. When you have several assignments, you have several assignment IDs here. So you have to take note of the assignment ID like you saw on the assignment page. And you click on that ID, and then you select your assignment file and upload the file. All of these places are optional. All of these comments are optional. So the most important thing is select the assignment ID and then choose the file, and then you submit. All right? Does anyone have questions? All right, hold on. Edwin, can you put the link to the Zoom on the chat so that other students can get? I'm getting messages that they cannot get the link to join the class.
Okay.
All right, so once the assignment is graded, you will see the grade here. You'll see what you've submitted, and you'll see the grade here once it is graded, once you're done. Now, there are other things like payments and memberships. For those who, we've had ambitious students in the past who have decided that the live class and the pre-recorded video is not good enough content, is not enough content for them. And so they want to have more one-on-one membership where you can decide if you're registered for one course, you can do a $10 per month where you can book a 1 hour slot every week with an instructor that, apart from all the resources you get from the course, they will sit down and teach you one-on-one every week, in addition to all the course resources. And then if you have multiple courses, you can do the multi-course membership. And if you are already in the field or graduated, you have not registered for any course, but you have job interviews and technical coding tests to write, and you need guidance, and then you can do an open membership if you want to. When it's time for payment, you also come to pay for registered course here. You can pay via card. We use Stripe because we don't want to handle card details. So you can click to pay via Stripe. Once we get the notification, within 24 to 48 hours, your classroom will be enabled back for you if you are disabled. If you don't want to pay with your card online, you can do a direct bank transfer to JP Morgan Chase, or if you're in Nigeria, you can pay to Zenith Bank of Nigeria. The account details are on the page there. All right. So the course is beginner friendly. Someone asked in the chat if the course is beginner friendly. The course is beginner friendly. We are going to start from the very beginning. We'll start like you have never written any program before, or you don't know what SQL is from the beginning. All right, so we'll dive right in now. Does anyone has any question, clarification before we start the content? All right, so sorry, someone wants to say something?
Yeah, there is one question, I guess, in the chat.
Okay, what's the question?
Yes, how much for software development, please, and what is the duration?
For software development, because there are different courses for software development. There is front end, back end, full stack. If you go to the page, let's go there, you'll see the different courses and how much each of them costs. There are some courses that are for free. If you want to do back end, so we have the free courses and we have the paid courses. Now, I will advise you to start with the free courses. The reason is the free courses are the fundamentals to intermediate. So we have, if you're going the route of front end, you want to start with understanding programming and software development, and then you move to JavaScript fundamentals, and then do all the front end related course, or the course which category is front end. If you want to do back end, the front end deals with all of the design and the logic. If you want to do back end, then MySQL, what you're learning right now, and then you want to learn Python or PHP, you can do both. Python is free, and it's free for now, maybe the first 2 batches. PHP is not free. And then you can now graduate from this to Foundations of Software Development. You have to understand the programming language before you can take this course. Now, this is the only course that will make you actually pass technical interviews or any coding tests, because we deal with data structure and algorithm and how to optimize systems and write efficient codes in this course. Then we have command line Git and GitHub, which is also important for you to be able to build your softwares using version control systems. And then you can come here to read them. We see the software development with all of this. These are not foundational. These are courses that require that you already do the fundamental courses before you get to full stack. All right. So you can come to the page here to see the different courses and their prices. Okay. And you can also go there to read individually about each of the course here. So you see them, you can read about them, you see the different batches when registration is opened. You can see when registration is opened for different batches and the duration of each of them, so you know when it starts. Batch 1 for Python is currently ongoing. Batch 2 starts on September 1st. Registration is about to close for batch 2, and then we have batch 3, 4, 5. We see their dates. All right. Does that answer your question? All right. So for SQL, who should take this course? So if you aspire to be a data analyst or a data scientist, and for those people who want to work on AI and all the things that we have going on and booming right now in the industry, you want to actually understand what database is, what data is. You want to analyze data, you want to use data for even when you want to build AI system like ChatGPT and the rest, they use data, collect data. You want to be able to understand this data. You want to extract, you want to know how to analyze data from a relational database. This course is for you. If you want to just learn how to clean data, aggregate reports data, this is also for you. If you're a software developer, a web developer, you want to build applications that interact with database, people sign up on your site, you want to store information in a database, you need this also. All right. If you're a business analyst, you also need to understand this course. Database administrator, you need this course also. If you're an engineer in DevOps or any IT role, you want to understand this also. When you need to maybe extract information for staff and other management. And if you're a product manager or project manager, you also need this course. If you're a marketing professional, you need the course. Also finance and accountants need the course. And every student in tech or business or analyst field needs to understand how to work with this course. All right. So once you install MySQL Workbench, you come to a page like this once you start your Workbench. For your local instance, you want to start. Now, recall that when you were installing this, you are asked for a password for the root user. It will ask you for that password that you set when you were creating this. All right. So once you are here, you are now able to see this page. The first time you come on this MySQL Workbench, you'll be on the administration dashboard like this. You can switch the schemas here to see the databases you have. You might not see the same databases that I have. You might have to install databases yourself or run SQL command to get your database. Now your course resource has the links to where you can get these databases, and your pre-recorded video has the direction on how you can run the SQL file to get your database and the data inserted in your database here. So we're going to skip all of that. Just watch the videos that were uploaded this morning and you will get the full information. When we write queries in SQL, we write queries that different things. Queries that can define the database and the structure, queries that can get information for us, queries that can save information, queries that can modify information. Sometimes when you create a file like this, you want to start writing something. And most of the time in the field of software engineering, you might work on a team or in a team. And even if you don't work in a team, sometimes you want to remember what it is that you were doing or that you were thinking when you were doing or writing that code. And so the first thing you want to know is how to write comments in SQL. And comment is written in different ways. If you want to write a single line comment, you use double dashes like this, and whatever you write will be ignored. Whatever you write here is going to be ignored. When you run your file, it's not read or it's not interpreted, and it doesn't give you a result. You can also do a single line comment using the pound sign like this. And when you use the pound sign, whatever you write is ignored by when you run the file. Okay, so this is a single line comment. If you want to write comments, like you want to write a whole note that spans multiple lines, you'll use a /, 2 asterisks, and then you end with 2 asterisks and a / like this. And then whatever you write between this is going to be ignored. Now, what do we use comments for? When you write comments, it's just for you to leave a note to yourself, to leave a to-do list, to explain what it is you are doing, to leave references, names of authors, and several things you can do there. But whatever you write as a comment is something that is not going to be interpreted, is not part of the queries, and is not going to be run. It's just extra information on the file. All right. We want to look at how to query data. And for this course, for the first week, we use the Classic Models database. If you refer to your pre-recorded video and your lesson notes, we talked about the Classic Models, and all our examples are with the Classic Models. And so for us to have a wider range of examples, I will use a different database, the World database. Now, if you want to download different databases, you can come to this link, dev.mysql.com/doc/index.order.html, and you'll see example databases here that you can download as a zip file and then run the files. We have the employee data, the world database, Secular database, the airport database, and different types. So if you want to try your hands on different databases for you to work with or do examples with, you can come to this page to download them. So I'm going to use the world database to illustrate this, since we use the Classic Models in the pre-recorded videos. So when we want to query data from a database, the first thing we want to do is to select the database that we want to use. And so we'll use the use keyword and then the name for the database. So we use world. Now in SQL, you can use a semicolon or you can leave it out. It just for neatness and readability that this indicates the end of the statement. All right. If you run this, it doesn't give you any output here, but it shows the green check mark and this highlighted that this is the database you are going to use. Now we can see the tables in the database, the city, the country language tables. Now you can explore to see what information, what are the column names for all of these. So let's say when you want to look at a table, you want to see all of the rows and columns in the table, we use the select statement like this. Select, and then you use an asterisk to indicate all. Now this is the first time you are going to this table. You want to see the information that is saved on this table. So use an asterisk to indicate all, so you can get all the columns from that table. So say select all, then from the name of the table. Now let's say we want to use country. So we say select all from country. And this is the query you write for you to get all the information. And once you click on this, and it will give you the table. Now, in a relational database, information is stored in rows and columns. Now, each row indicates a complete unit of information about a person or about a thing. Each column is like a data point. So you can see the column name, the column continent, the column region, surface area, the independence year, the population, the life expectancy, the GMP, the old local name, government form, and every other information about each country. So when you select a row of information, you have the complete data for that person, for that thing, for that unit. When you select a column of information, you have one data point for the information. All right. So in a relational database, data is stored in tables, and these tables organize records in rows and columns like this. Now, select the asterisk indicates all from the table name. So assuming your name of your table is city, now you're going to do select all from city. So the two keywords here are select and from. This all indicates all columns. Now that we know the column names, we can decide we don't want all columns. We just want to know the name of the country, the continent it is in, and we want to know the population. So we want to select just these three columns. What will you do now? You write the column names. Select name. As a comma separated list, you are going to list all of the names of the column. Continent. And then population. From country. So now when we run this, what we'll get now is just the column name, continent, population from the country table. So we don't have all the columns that we do not need. Why is this important? When you build your softwares, you have the interface, you want to load it with information from the database. So let's say you have your interface and you want to see all the users of your system, for instance. You want to get everybody that signed up. During sign up, they selected many things apart from their name and their email address. Maybe they selected their gender, their date of birth, they might select their hobbies, their languages. You don't need those information. Maybe all you need is just the email addresses and the names of the people. And then you're going to load that information by just selecting the column names. This will optimize your system. The load time will be faster and you don't use unnecessary resources. And so we want to take only what we need, and we need just the name, the continent, and the population. So this is how we query data. Select from. All right. In between the select and the from, you put the list of the column names that you want as a comma separated list. If you want all columns, you use an asterisk to indicate all. Then after the from, you write the name of the table that you want to get that information from. Now again, note that we have a database. The database holds tables. This table holds related information in rows and columns, and that is why it is called a relational database. All right. Now, when you hear about relational database management system, we're talking about MySQL itself. The software that we use to be able to write these queries is a relational database management system. All right. The data arranged in rows and columns is in a relational database. The language that we are using to write our queries is called structured query language, SQL. All right. There are no SQL languages that we have, or there's no SQL where you can query unstructured data, but we're working with structured data and we use SQL to query this data or perform different operations on the data. Does anyone have questions?
I just want to know if this exact video or this class is going on right now will be posted, because I just signed in. I missed a good bit, I guess, about 15 minutes of class.
Yeah, it's not exactly what we posted. We're using a different example so we can have a wide range of examples. But I'm recording this, so after the class, before the end of the day, I will upload the recording so you can watch the portion that you missed.
All right, thank you very much. I'm kind of lost, but I'm following.
All right, thank you. All right, so we know what the select from statement does, but sometimes you're not working with a database or a database table. We want to just look at the different operators that we have in SQL, right? We're going to look at operators in another week, but for the purpose of seeing how we use the select statement, we can say, for instance, we want to do a computation, like say select let's say 8 times 6. You can do this and it gives you the answer 48. So we use select statement like this. So we query data, but it performs operations on this data. One useful way you can do this again is when we get to functions in SQL, where you want to get the current time stamp. So let's say select now. So we use the now function to give you the current timestamp in SQL, and it gives you the current date and time in a table like this. But let's say you don't want all this time, you don't want the day, you don't want the month, you want only the year. There is another function year that we can use. We'll look at this in greater details in another week. I'm just illustrating the select part of all of this, what we use the select to do. So we can now get only the year from a timestamp like this. So we use the select statements to do other things apart from getting data from a database table. All right. But sometimes when you get this data, you query your data base table, you get this data, you want to organize the data. You don't want to get, let's go back to the country table. So say select all from country. So you query this data base table, you get everything returned, and you look at this and you want it to be easy for you. There are different aggregate functions that we have. We'll look at them later, but you at a glance want to see this thing arranged in or sorted out either in ascending or descending order. You don't want to have to look at which country has the highest surface area or which country has the highest population and keep scrolling to find out and try to order them. You can do that using a clause in the select statement, and that clause is called the order by clause like this. So what are you ordering by? You want to write the name of the column that you want to order the records that are returned by. So let's say we still want just the country name, we want the continent, and then we want the population. We want this from the country and we want to order this by, let's say, the population. So when you do this, it's going to give you the population from the least population to the most populated country in that order. So it reorders this from the least to the highest. So you can now say Antarctica has the least, and then you want to see the country here with the highest population. You can say, okay, China has the highest population. So at a glance, you got your results, but you organize your results by a criteria, and that criteria is the name of a column. Now, when you don't specify anything here, it gives in ascending order by default. If you use ASC, it means ascending order if you want to, but by default it's ascending, so you don't need to write it. But let's say you want it in descending order so that you can get the most populous country first. You put the DESC and run this, and you get the most populous first before the least populated country, like that. So you can organize the way you want. Then sometimes you want to organize this by not just one column, but by two columns. Let's say you want the names to be in, or the continents to be in ascending order and the population in descending order. So what this will do is it will get a little confusing. So you want to order by continent, and this is in ascending, and then you want by population in descending. So I have continent ascending, population descending. Let me expand this so you can see. Okay, so you have two criteria. You want the continent. So what this will do now is to organize the continent in ascending order. Then in that ascending order of organized continent, it will now organize the population in descending order for the already organized ascending order. So let me run this so I can explain it better. Now, it's first organized by continents, all of Asian countries first. And once it does this first, then it now goes to the population and now moves the country in that continent, that the Asia that is the highest population will come first before the next and the next. If we don't have population descending here, then it will just organize by continent without putting any population in descending order. Let's do like this. So you can see that it changed the order because it puts the continents and puts them in alphabetical order. But when we say by population, it will put the continent in ascending order and then the population in descending order of the organized continent already. So this is just the way we sort records. So if you watch a pre-recorded video, you will see other examples that uses the classic models database, and you can try them with different databases and see how you can use the select statement, the select from statement, and the select and the order by clause within the select statement to be able to run your queries and see the results. So you need to practice and keep practicing for you to get a hang of this and for it to come naturally. Now, where is this useful? What is the application of this in real world situation? When you want to get, for instance, you want to return rows of information from a database. We have other clauses that we use. Maybe you have a database table that has millions of records, and you don't want to return all of the millions of records before you organize it, which is higher and which is lower. The system will be slow, it won't be optimized. So you want to write your query such that that data is already organized, and if what you want is the highest or the most populous place, you can just select select all from country, order by continent, descending, and just get only the first row. So you put a limit 1, so it will return only the first row, so it doesn't need to give you all the whole data from the database. If you want it to be the lowest, you can put it in ascending order, get only the first row, and you get the information of the lowest person. The same thing with school, and you want to get the best student. You can write your query so that it sorts that record before it brings it out, and your load time is lower. You don't have to load all the data to find out what you need. You don't have to return everything. All right. So these are the topics for week 1. In week 2, we'll look at how to filter data, look at different operators and functions, and we'll understand deeper how to work with this. So I'm going to take questions now, if anyone has questions. Anyone with questions? You can type in the chat if you don't want to speak. All right, in the absence of questions, we'll meet again next week. Our rule for live classes is when we wait 10-15 minutes and people don't join for the live class, it's going to be cancelled. We expect that you register for the live class at least 2 hours prior to the start time so that we'll know how many students are attending. The purpose of the live class is for you to have deeper knowledge about the topics that are discussed and ask questions and be able to interact with the class. And so if people are not present for it, there will be no need. We'll just assume that the pre-recorded videos covered all of the contents that you want to understand and it's understood already, and so the live class will be cancelled. All right, so we'll get these videos across to you. You'll get it in the group chat and even by email, and you also find it on the lessons page on your classroom once the video is processed and ready for you to view. All right. Someone raise hand, sorry.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I just need to understand about the paid class, right? I am a beginner, so I don't know, like what you just explained now. It's like you were explaining a scientific what. So I just need to understand the paid classes. Is it one-on-one whereby you can actually say, okay, can you please stop and go back to this and this? Is like, what's the difference between this class and the paid class?
So this is the paid class already, right?
Oh, this is the paid class.
Yes, but we are in a 2-week trial period where you get the feel first before you decide if you want to pay and continue. This is the right class for you, or is something you can cope
Okay.
with. And it's for 2 weeks. And so why we have the live classes is for those kind of interaction where you can say, stop and go back. I don't understand this. We have 1.5 hours to stay and answer all your questions. If after the live classes you still don't understand, you want to have one-on-one membership so that it's not pull other students back, you can now decide you want one-on-one slots where you select a time, an instructor will sit with you and dedicate time to teach you everything that you want, but that is a different membership. But for the paid class, we have this live class every Wednesday where you can come with your questions. Assuming you go now to start practicing and you have questions, you have things to clarify, you can come next week Wednesday when we have a class and bring out all your questions. You can actually even email the questions before the class and say you want to discuss all of this, you don't understand it, things like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anybody else? All right, so thank you everyone and see you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.